Hi everybody, MTG Openings back once again. It's pre-release weekend, so I had my local pre-release today. Well, two of them. This is the second one. I actually will have another video similar to this one, and I went 3-1, and I got second place worth 6 packs. So I figured I would open these up for you, see what we get. Let's dive right in here. First pack is Sig Icebreakers, 2 and a black for a 2/3, and when Sig Icebreakers enters the battlefield, each player discards a card. It's not too bad. If you're playing some Delve with your Fate Reforged, it's not bad, but you're not going to know that when you draft it at first, but there's some synergy. Magmatic Chasm, this actually killed me one game. It's 1 and a red. Creatures without flying can't block this turn. Good finisher. If you need a playable. Now this isn't sealed, of course. I don't know if I play this in limited. Maybe it's a sideboard card. Servant of the Scale is 1 green for a 0/0. When it enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and when it dies, you put all the +1/+1 counters on it onto a different creature. Contradict, 3 and 2 blue, instant, counter target spell and draw a card, a little overpriced for a counter spell. Foul Tongue Shriek, 1 black for an instant, target opponent loses 1 life for each attacking creature you control, and you gain that much life. Reduce in Stature is 2 and a blue, enchantment aura, enchant creature, and enchanted creature has base power and toughness 0/2. Dragon Eye Sentry, 1 white for a 1/3, a defender with first strike. Probably a sideboard. Probably not going in the main deck. My deck had 2 Guardian Shield Bearer, that's this card. It's 1 and a green for a 2/1. It's got Megamorph for 3 and a green, and when it is turned face up, you put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. I often wanted to cast this, morph this on turn 3 and flip it on turn 4. Pretty decent. I think it'll. The green is very powerful in this set. I like it. Sarkhan's Rage is 4 and a red, instant. It deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and if you control no dragons, it does 2 damage to you. It's a healthy finisher. It's actually kind of funny. I'm very against cards like Lava Axe, but that's only because it does it to players only. This can finish your opponent or kill that pesky 5 toughness creature that they have, so I like it. I played 2 of them. It wasn't as good as I hoped. I probably would go back and only play 1 and play something else, but it's a removal spell. It's pretty decent. Vile Dragonfire is an artifact. It costs 2. 2 tap, sacrifice Vile Dragonfire. It deals 2 damage to target creature. Not a bad card. And if you need a removal spell, it works. Ukdu Cobra is our first uncommon. It's 3 and a black for a 2/5 Death Touch. It doesn't have a lot of flavor. Doesn't have a lot of text. It doesn't seem very powerful, but this blocks almost everything on the ground. So it seems good to me. Next uncommon is Herd Chaser Dragon. This is the this is the green uncommon Morph Dragon. It's 5 and a green for a 3/3 flying trample. Its Megamorph cost is 5 and 2 green, and whenever it is turned face up, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other dragon creature you control. So in a pinch, it's good. I had it in my a Tarkir deck, but it was never an all-star. The red one I also had. That one was much better. We got Dragon Hunter. It's 1 white for a 2/1 with protection from dragons, and it can block dragons as though it had reach. And our rare is Dromoka's Command. It's green and a white for an instant. You choose 2. You either prevent all damage target instant or sorcery spell would deal this turn. Target player sacrifices an enchantment. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Very versatile. It costs 2. It's going immediately into one of my EDH decks because I love me choices in those decks. We got a Swamp and a tip card. So, looking quickly through the pack here, it's pretty obvious the first pick is the Command, I think. The Cobra's decent, and the Command, those are about the only 2. Let me know in the comments below if you want what you think the first pick is there. Pack number 2. Diving right in here. So I had a great time at the pre-release. I got second. I was 3 and 1. I played in the finals. I got a little mana screwed in the end, but you know what happens. It's Magic. I'm not that worried about it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, so not bad. Sabertooth Outriders, 3 and a red for a 4/2 trample. It's got Formidable. When it attacks, if creatures you control have total 8 power or greater, it gets first strike. So only first striking when attacking, but still powerful enough. Champion of Ereshkigal, Also 3 and a white this time. It's a 3/2 with lifelink. It's more importantly, it's a warrior. Shambling Goblin. It's the new version of Festering Goblin. This is 1 and a black. 1 black for a 1/1. And when Shambling Goblin dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1. Dragon Fodder is 1 and a red. You get 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. It's a reprint. Pinion Feast, 4 and a green, instant. Destroy target creature with flying and bolster 2. This card actually lost me one of the games in the finals. I figured this is a sideboard card, but he had a main deck. I mean, I guess if the card from Fate Reforged makes it Pinned to the Earth, is that what it's called? I don't remember, I'm sorry. 3 and a green, destroy target flying creature, artifact, or enchantment. It's escaping me at the moment. If that's playable, I guess this is just as playable. Maybe the white one that is the same cost and bolsters 1 and destroys attacking or blocking creatures. Maybe that's only... I don't know. It's a fine card. Sidisi's Faithful is 1 blue for an 0/4 with exploit, and when it exploits a creature, return target creature to its owner's hand. So you can pay 1 blue, lay this guy down, and bounce a card if you sacrifice itself. Or maybe you have something worse. There's an Evolving Wilds. Tap, sacrifice Evolving Wilds, search your library for a basic land card and put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Twin Bolt. This is a pretty good card. 1 and a red, instant, deal 2 damage divided any way you choose among 1 or 2 target creatures and or players. This is a much stronger pack in the commons, at least, than the last pack. Naturalize, 1 and a green, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Our first uncommon is Circle of Elders. It's 2 and 2 green with vigilance. It's a 2/4. It has formidable. Tap, add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if creatures you control have a total power 8 or greater. Not bad. Our next uncommon is Carsey Deceiver. It's 1 and a blue for a 0/4. It tapped to add a colorless mana to your mana pool. You can only spend the mana to cast face down creature spells or pay costs to turn manifest creatures face up or pay morph costs. I didn't see this guy at all today. He seems alright. I guess in a dedicated morph and or manifest, megamorph or manifest deck, he's not too bad, but I certainly don't think at first picking him. Ironically, we're getting not so good uncommons. I mean, the Elders is alright. A Tarkir Monument. There's one of these for each of the Dragon Lords. It's 3 colorless for an artifact that taps for a red or a green mana, and you can pay 4, a red and a green, to turn the monument into a 4/4 red and green dragon artifact creature token with flying until on a turn. And our rare is Corpse Swift. It's 2 and a black for an enchantment that has pay 1 and a black and exile 1 or more creature cards from your graveyard, and you get an XX black zombie horror creature token onto the battlefield tapped, where X is twice the number of cards exiled this way. Interesting. We got a foil Ereshkiin Sovereign, which is a rare. It's a 5, a green and a white for a 6/6 flying dragon, and when Ereshkiin Sovereign dies, you may put it on the top or the bottom of its owner's library. I believe this is the rare that comes in the Dromoka sealed deck, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it's cool. Foil rare, nice. We got a Swamp and a Jin Monk token. So in this pack, do a quick scan here. I like Twin Bolt or the Dragon. Probably the Dragon because, well, it's a dragon, but not bad. Pack number 3. For those of you watching who are looking forward to my box openings, I'm going to do one box where I think I read every card, and then I'm going to do another box where I don't read any of the cards, and then I'm going to do a third box broken up in chunks. That way you don't have to watch all 36 packs if you don't want to. So anyway, Wandering Tomb Shell, 3 and a black for a 1/3 zombie turtle. So this is Meandering Tower Shell from the previous set. Obviously in much worse shape than it used to be. Palace Familiar, 1 and a blue for a 1/1 flying, and when it dies you draw a card. Pretty good. Sandstep Scavenger is 4 and a green for a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, you bolster 2. So you're paying 5 for 4 power. I had one of these in my sealed pool when I was playing green-red. It didn't make the cut. I had much better, more powerful things to do on turn 5. So here's another Reduce in Stature. Here's Enduring Victory. This is actually similar to the Pinions Feast that I was talking about earlier. It's 4 and a white for an instant. Destroy target attacking or blocking creature and bolster 1. I guess that's good enough still on the deck, because it's not like it has to be flying. I didn't play white, so it didn't come up, but still. Here's an Epic Confrontation. This is a green removal spell. It's 1 and a green for a sorcery. Target creature you control gets +1/+2 until end of turn. It fights target creature you don't control, so it's awesome. I love this card. not only it doesn't give you the permanent +1/+1, but it's good enough. I mean, it's gonna help you win the fight. So I like it a lot. And sometimes you can even win a fight and then still go to combat if there's no desirable blocks for your opponent. So, or if they use a removal spell, I guess. But it's all good. Tormenting Voice is a reprint from Cons. It's a 1 and a red. Has an additional cost to cast Tormenting Voice. Discard a card, draw 2 cards. I just like to point out here, Nicol Bolas's picture is up here. I did not notice that the first time I opened this, but that's kind of cool. I don't like the picture much other than that, but I also am not really a big fan of it being reprinted so quickly, but Red got another one of those too. What can you do? Moving on here. Keeper of the Lens. It's 1 for a 1/2 artifact creature golem, and you may look at face-down creatures you do not control. So it's a bit better than the Lens of Clarity, but I still don't think it's good. We've got a Reckless Imp. It's 2 and a black for a 2/2 flying. It cannot block. It's got a dash, so its dash cost is 1 and a black. It's a very aggressive flyer. I guess, obviously, you don't want to draw this when you need a chum blocker, but it's great, you know, on turn 2. I mean, if you're a dedicated dash deck, I think you want at least 1 Reckless Imp. Our first uncommon is a Storm Crag Elemental. It's 5 and a red for a 5/5 trample, which is good enough on its own. It has Megamorph for 4 and 2 reds, so you can play morph this turn 3, morph this turn 3, 4, or 5, and then flip it 6, and you have a 6/6 trample. So that's pretty powerful. Even 6 to cast 5/5 trample seems good enough. Our next uncommon is another good one. It's Silumgar's Sorcerer. It's 1 and 2 blue for a 2/1 flying with flash and exploit. When Silumgar's Sorcerer exploits a creature, counter target creature spell. This card is awesome. It's first pickable for sure. I didn't play against one today, but I don't really want to play against one ever, so I may be playing many of these in my draft decks to come, who knows. Our last uncommon is the Ojutai Monument, just like the Tarkir one. It's 3 mana for an artifact that taps for white or blue this time. You can pay 4 a white or blue, 4 a white and blue, and it becomes a 4/4 white blue dragon artifact creature with flying. 2 on a turn. I didn't play with one today. I seem like it seems good enough. Obviously, if it only did this, it would probably be common and not be playable. But because it does this, I feel like this. If you're gonna play 18 land like I did, you have something to pump that mana into late game if you have nothing else. I like it enough. Our rare is Obscuring Ether. It's a green for an enchantment. Face down creature spells you cast cost 1 less, and you can pay 1 and a green to turn this face down, and it becomes a 2/2 creature. There's another foil on this pack. It is a forest. And then we got a mountain, and we got the zombie token. So I believe the first pick in this pack for me is Epic Confrontation, Stormcrag Elemental, or Silumgar Sorcerer. I'm going with the Sorcerer. I mean, it's double blue, but it's so powerful. Excuse me, pack number 4. We've got Lightwalker, 1 and a white for 2/1. Lightwalker has flying as long as there's a +1/+1 counter on it. It's fine. Play that turn 2. Play your morph shield bearer turn 3. Flip it over, give him flying. You're in business. There's another Wandering Tomb Shell. Gurmag Drowner. It's 3 and a blue for a 2/4 with exploit. When it exploits a creature, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. I don't know if I'd like to exploit a 2/4 for 4, but you might have something weak that you can get rid of. I like it enough. Conifer Strider, 3 and a green for a 5/1 hexproof. I played against this at least once today, and all my guys had trample at the time. Not good. I do not like the card. I probably will not play it much, if at all, unless I need a creature, but hopefully I do not. Butcher's Glee is a pretty powerful trick people might not think about. It's 2 and a black. Instant. Target creature gets +3/+0 and gains lifelink until end of turn, and you regenerate it. So you're gaining life, you're killing their guy probably, and you're saving your own guy. All around pretty good. I mean, it costs 3, but it's probably pretty good. Glint. Glint is 1 and a blue. Instant. Target creature you control gets +0/+3 and gains hexproof until end of turn. This, I think, only if you're playing against an opponent who's got a lot of early game stuff, and you gotta, like, save your guys. Do you play it? I don't like it enough to play it myself. Pacifism, of course, this is good. It's 1 and a white enchantment, and enchanted creature can attack or block. So the guy who won the event with my Tarkir deck had 3 of these in his deck, and he got one every game. One time it was on my Sirach Huntcaller, and couldn't do much about it. So it's a very good card. Guardian, it's another Guardian Shield Bearer. Here's an Tarkir Efreet. It's 3 in a red for a 5/1 Megamorph for 2 in a red, and when it's turn faced up, it deals 1 damage to a creature or player. I love this card. I don't think you'll ever want to pay 4 for it unless you need to block something with 5 power and doesn't trample the turn you draw it. Otherwise, even turn 6 you're going to play this card up face down and then flip it. I guess turn 4 or 5 is the only time you might want to play it without it, but hopefully you're not in that spot. I had one of these. I liked it. I even missed this trigger one of the times because it was good enough as a 6/2 for 3. So I like him. He's good. He's common, scary, and powerful. Moving on. So I should back up here. The reason I like this guy as a 5/1 versus Conifer Strider is this guy only costs 3 mana on 2 turns each. He's got other abilities. He's relevant more often. I just like him as a trick. Sorry, moving on. Flatten. Flatten is 3 in a black. Instant. Target creature gets -4/-4 and so on a turn. Solid removal. It still costs 4, but we got to take what we can get these days in Magic. So, obviously red has some better removal spells, but I like this card. Our first uncommon is a Scion of Ugin. It's 6 to cast for a 4/4 colorless flying dragon spirit. It's fine in a pinch. I think this card could have been common, but I guess there'd be way too many spirit dragons roaming around then. Next uncommon is Savage Ventmaw. So this is a card I would have loved to have in my Tarkir deck. I was playing massive mana cards. It's 4 red and a green flying for a 4/4. And when it attacks, you add 3 red, 3 green to your mana pool, and it doesn't empty from your mana pool as steps and phases end. So you always just have 6 mana whenever you need it. So awesome. Our next uncommon is a Youthful Scholar. It's 3 in a blue for a 2/2 human wizard, and when Youthful Scholar dies, you draw 2 cards. It's awesome. It's great. You play it. If you can get 2 damage in with it, awesome. Otherwise, your opponent doesn't really want to attack you because you're going to have 2 cards you're going to get to play next turn. Our rare is a Commune with Lava. I like this card a lot too. It's X and 2 red. Instant. Exile the top X card to your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. So you can play it on a turn where you really need it, or maybe you have Event Maul and you have lots of mana, and it's good stuff. So I like it. We've got a Plains and a Morph token. So real quick here, this pack. I think I like a little bit. I like the Gromag Drowner. I like Butcher's Glee. Pacifism is always fun. I don't think a Tarkir Freet's good enough. I really like the Vent Maul. Commune with Lava. I like the Vent Maul as a pick, I think. Maybe take the Commune with Lava, hope the Vent Maul wheels. I don't think it will, though. It's close. Pack number 5. We've got Sandstorm Charger. It's 5 and a white for a 3/4 with Megamorph for 4 and a white. It's fine. It's a body. You would play it. There's a Sibsig Icebreakers. We got one of those earlier. Here's a Scream Reach Brawler. 2 and a red for a 2/3 dash for 1 and a red. I had one of these in my seal pool when I was playing red. It's too aggressive for my Tarkir deck, but it's fine. It's still good. The dash decks definitely won it. There's another Lightwalker. Zephyr Scribe. So if you notice, there's been a lot of non-repeats. We've gotten a few now, but that's going to happen in a big set, so that's kind of exciting. Zephyr Scribe is 2 and a blue for a 2/1 human monk. Pay 1 blue, tap it, discard a card, then draw a card, then discard a card, so you get to loot. And then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you untap Zephyr Scribe. I like this card. It's definitely good. It smooths your draws. Early in the game, you can get that land you need. Late in the game, you can make sure you don't. So I like it. Here's Pinion Feast again. Sprinting War Brute, 4 and a red for a 5/4. It must attack each turn if able, and its dash cost is 3 and a red. So pretty good. I didn't face off against this, nor did I get one. I like him. He would have made the cut in my deck for sure. He costs 5, well, 4 for the dash. I like him. He's good. It makes people want to block him. They got to chump, or they got to lose a big guy to a guy you only paid 4 for. It's pretty good. There's another Naturalize. Silumgar's Butcher is 4 and a black. It's a 3/3 zombie djinn with exploit. When Silumgar's Butcher exploits a creature, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. I like this post-combat. You can kill things that maybe didn't die in combat. Obviously, it's a removal spell, but you got to get rid of one of your guys, so if you don't have a good target, then it's not great. I think this card ranges from really good to just okay. Never terrible, of course, but if this guy's the only guy in play, you're paying 5 mana to give a creature -3/-3, so you'd rather play Flatten, of course. Moving on here. We got to Shape the Sands. This is very similar to Glint, if you remember that card. It's green. It's a green instant. Target creature gets +0/+5 and gains reach until on a turn. So it can save your guy if someone tries to kill it, or you can, block their flyer one turn. It's probably not good enough to make your deck most of the time, but in a pinch, I guess you could play it, or if you need it as a sideboard card, maybe you'll have it that time where, they swing in for lethal, you block one of their guys, and you crack back for the win. Our first uncommon is Ruthless Deathfang. I don't know about all these uncommon dragons. I think I like them all. The rare dragons are better, but they're pretty powerful. And this one's 4 a black and a blue for 4/4 flying. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, target opponent sacrifices a creature. So he goes in your blue-black exploit deck immediately. I guess you could first pick this guy and go to town on exploit cards. Not a bad plan. Next uncommon is Rendering Volley. It's red instant. Rendering Volley can't be countered by spells or abilities, which is not really relevant in this format. This is definitely going to be a staple against some decks in Modern, I think. And the sideboard, of course. And it deals 4 damage to target white or blue creature. I don't think you first pick this because you don't know what you're playing. So our next uncommon is Dromoka's Monument. It's the green-white monument. It's 3 to cast. Taps for a green or white. You pay 4, a green and a white, and it becomes a 4/4 green and white dragon artifact creature token with flying until end of turn. And our rare is Dragon Tempest. It's a 1 and a red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, it gains haste until end of turn. And whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. I guess you can take this pack one, pick one, and build a dragon deck. I still don't think there's enough dragons to do it. But obviously, if you just want to have some fun, maybe you'll do it there. We've got a forest and a tip card. Oh. Anything good when it comes to first picks here? Maybe if you want a dash deck, the Scribe's good. Sprinting Warbrute's not bad. I think I take the Ruthless Deathfang and don't look back on the exploit deck. Just force it. Be fun. I hope to get one exploit deck. I'm not a big fan of sacrificing my own creatures, but maybe one time. Maybe just one time. Pack number 6. After this video, I'll have a few more videos, so keep an eye out for those. I bought another one of the sealed decks to open for you guys, and I have a few more prize packs as well. So, Coolagon, I think it's 5 more. Yes, 5 more prize packs. Coolagon Storm Singers, 1 red for a 1/1 haste with Megamorph for 1 red, and when it's turned face up, target creature gain haste until end of turn. So you play this turn, you play turn 1 and attack if you want to be aggressive, or if you draw it a little later, you can use his shenanigans to make your guys have haste. And he's a 2/2 if you Megamorph, of course. Center Soul is 1 and a white for an instant. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Like I said, it's an instant. It's got Rebound, which means you cast it once, and then when it's cast from your hand, you exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast it from exile without paying its mana cost. So I actually didn't play against a single Rebound card in my pre-release today, which is kind of funny. Karsi Sadist is 1 and a black for a 1/3 with exploit, and when you exploit a creature, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. It's definitely on the weaker side of exploit cards. If you have other sacrifice things going on, then you can play it for sure, but it's definitely not in the realm of first picks. Sheltered Aerie, it's 2 and a green for an enchantment. Enchanted land has tap, add 2 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool. This might work in a slow environment of draft, but I have a feeling with those dash decks running around, this is just not going to cut it. I had somebody play this against me today, and it just felt like he let me, he played it, and then I took another, he didn't really do much with his extra mana. I guess it helps smooth out his double casting cost. I don't know. I don't like it that much. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the enchant lands, though. Even without no land removal, I don't know. Obviously there's a few exceptions that are rares in the last few years, but I'm not a big fan of enchant lands. So Contradict, it's another one of those. Moving right along, there's a Tormented Voice, Keeper of the Lens. Now we're getting a bunch of repeats. Reckless Imp. Here's an Ancient Carp. It's 4 and a blue for a 2/5 fish with no ability. It's fine. I guess if you're gonna play 5 mana for a white 3/5, playing 5 mana for a blue 2/5 isn't horrible. Our first, one more. Enduring Victory. Our first uncommon is Slumgar's Scorn. It's 2 blue. Instant. It's got a lot of words for not a lot of ability. There's an additional cost to cast Slumgar's Scorn. You can Reveal a dragon card from your hand. It counters target spell unless the controller pays 1. If you reveal a dragon or control a dragon in play, it just counters that spell instead. It's double blue. I don't think you're playing it. I guess if you're a mono blue deck maybe, but it's just, I don't think it's good enough. Salt Road Quartermasters, 2 and a green for a 1/1. When Salt Road Quartermasters enters the battlefield, it gets 2+1/+1 counters on it, and you can pay 2 and a green to remove a +1/+1 counter from Salt Road Quartermasters and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It's a mini Daggetar. The ability is nice. Why would you? I mean, it's fine. You can definitely make complicated math for combat, and it's okay. We got an Avon Sunstriker. That's a 1 and 2 white for a 1/1 flying double strike with Megamorph for 4 and a white. I did lose to this card today, but I was already losing anyway. It's fine. I did kill it a few times when it was morphed as well. It's nice. There's a big difference between a 1/1 with double strike and a 2/2 with double strike, and that's pretty blatantly obvious when it costs 5 to unmorph it. And obviously at a pinch, you can lay it as a chump block if you need to. It's fine. I like it, but no, it's amazing. Our rare for the pack is Pitless Horde. It's 2 and a black for a 5/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life, and it's got dash for 2 and 2 black. So obviously this card is designed to be dashed into play all the time. I'm hoping you never have to lay it down and then your opponent doesn't attack you, so you can't chump with it. I mean, pay its regular cost. I mean, it only costs 3, I guess. It's pretty strong, but I don't know. I guess the fact that it costs 3 is good enough, but it's, I don't know. I hope I'm not playing this card, but I mean, like I said, if I make that dedicated dash deck, if I draft that, I mean, Pitless Horde goes in there, I'm sure. Who needs life when you're winning, right? And we got a Mountain and another Jin Monk. So real quick scan of this pack. I like not much. Reckless Imp is okay. Enduring Victory is a removal spell. Salt Road Quartermaster's fun. Avian Sunstriker. Pitless Horde. I think Pitless Horde is the pick. It's the strongest card in the pack. Maybe I'd make that dedicated dash deck. I mean, if I'm not in black, obviously, if I'm in white already, I'd take that double striker. But if it's pack 1, then you take it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Nothing amazing, no amazing pools, all rares, no mythics. But I did get that foil, so that's fun. So, you know, I'll take 7 rares in my 6 packs. Be sure to leave any comments down below. Be sure to check me out on Facebook at MTG Openings and Twitter. I've been starting to post some What's the Picks. And be sure to like this video and subscribe. Until next time, guys. See ya.